Yeah, there's been a big development in the last few minutes. Lyon were basically relegated from the French top division for breaking French football's financial rules. And that would mean that they would not be able to play in the Europa League. However, they have appealed to French football's watchdog. That appeal was heard this morning, and they've been successful in overturning their appeal. They've basically given assurances to the French FA that they have money in their account to be able to meet their obligations for the upcoming season. So obviously very good news for Lyon, who are one of the biggest clubs in France. But bad news for Crystal Palace, because if Lyon's relegation had been confirmed today, that would have guaranteed that Crystal Palace would be playing in the Europa League next season. As it is now, more uncertainty, because now we have to wait for UEFA to make a decision. Obviously they've got these rules about third-party ownership. John Textor owned a share of Crystal Palace, which he's now agreed to sell. He owned a big stake in Lyon as well. He stepped back as the chairman of Lyon. He's resigned from the board. He's basically done everything possible to make sure that Lyon will play in the Europa League. It looks like he's been successful, but where does this leave Crystal Palace now? Crystal Palace have been in talks with UEFA. They have been saying to UEFA, we are not part of a multi-club ownership group. We have not broken any of your rules. We've never been in trouble with the English football authorities, with the European football authorities. We've done nothing wrong. We've earned our place in the Europa League by winning the FA Cup, our first major trophy. We were looking forward to playing in Europe for the first time. And now you're saying to us, you're not going to be able to play because John Textor used to own a share, when everybody in football knows that John Textor did not have a significant say in how Crystal Palace were run. Crystal Palace are effectively run by the executive chairman, Steve Parish. Everybody in football will tell you he does a great job. And everybody, well, nearly everybody in the Premier League would tell you that Crystal Palace deserve their place in the Europa League next season. But of course, now we have to wait and see what UEFA decide. It feels like they've been kicking the can down the road. They've been dragging their heels, waiting for the French football authorities maybe to help them out by relegating Lyon, but that hasn't happened. So the ball is back in UEFA's court, and they have to make a decision because there's so much uncertainty at Crystal Palace. The players returned to pre-season training today. They don't know which combination of competitions they're going to be playing in next season. Will they be playing in the Europa? Will they be playing in the Conference League? The players who potentially could leave, how can Crystal Palace convince them to stay if they can't tell them which competitions they'll be playing in next season? When it comes to buying players, how can Crystal Palace convince players to move to Selhurst Park when they don't know which competitions they will be playing in next season? So really, UEFA have to make a decision, and they have to make a decision quickly. And I think if it goes against Crystal Palace will certainly appeal against any decision that UEFA make, if the decision is to take them out of the Europa League and put them in the Conference League.